talk
So good to
about.
be here.
So good to be. Thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you
Um,
for your time.
as you predicted, it seems to be just two of us for a while, and I'm doing everything in my best to change that.
Well,
Very
you are the best, so don't worry.
okay.
You're
Okay,
good
so,
enough. You don't need other people. You are fantastic as you are.
okay, thank you for your positivity. There you go. All right, let's talk about Hamon today. So
Hamon,
yeah,
Hamon. So, may I?
sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Welcome to Hamon, my personal favorite. This is Hamon, the authentic water ripples, immersive illumination of water. The natural ripples projected by the fixed installation of a pool of water over or below a space, a mechanical arm gently moving the water and suggesting its ripples in a natural way. So this is authentic, natural ripples coming from the interaction of a mechanical arm with a basin of water and lights projecting through those ripples to give you this not even an illusion, it's the authentic experience of being within the refractions of water. And it is my personal favorite of the installations. It's also one of the ones that requires a particular context, a situation to be the most effective. I think similar to the true WaterPearl installation, you would like to be in a sort of more controlled environment, perhaps a little bit darker. But for me, this is the one that elicits one of the most sensational uh, responses in terms of relaxation and contemplation. And it really fills a room because you can paint the walls, paint the floor, paint the ceiling with this beautiful refraction.
Hamon started from like a drop of water, kind of, I think. In the beginning, it was they were kind of trying to project the water ripple effect from
Mm,
one drop or
yeah,
something. And
right.
then, like, trying to project that shadow movement onto the floor, I think. And then eventually, they're like, why don't we just continue this or even customize the pattern to, and then I think they reached traditionally it was from top to the bottom. So from the
Mm,
ceiling, the light source is in the ceiling and then projecting it to the floor. But now recently they have a new type that's from the floor to the ceiling.
yeah, so it's very simple. It's simple in concept, but in practice, it's it requires incredible precision and dedication to pull off such a feat.
You know, like Giacomo said, it's very simple structure. So the light source is here, lighting source is here, and then in in between floor and ceiling there's a water. So this is like acrylic panel or acrylic water tank, and then there's a
Mm,
water in it. And it's kind of a special water again. It's a bit similar to aquapane in concept, so that it doesn't get molded, and water can stay there forever. And basically, the motor there's a little motor inside
mm.
with a little arms, and then that moves, and that creates a the movement of the water, and then therefore creates the projection of shadow and light moving around and yeah, something like that. Do you
Beautiful.
wanna like articulate better? Like,
Well, no, I mean, you articulated very nicely, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we have a similar unique solution that offers high longevity, no decay on the water. As Tomo touched on, there's no mold being created. And then, moreover, the unique design of the technology is actually quite astounding because the lifespan of the motor is 6,200 hours. That's 8 hours per day for 2 years uninterrupted use and 40,000 hours for the lighting unit. So this is incredibly hands off. Once you install this, you don't have to really think about it at all, except the enjoyment of it
hmm.
and turning it on or off. Also, the water is totally self-contained, so there's no worries about, where's the water coming from. It's not flowing in the same way that we have with Akupane or WaterPearl itself. So you don't have to even think about that. It's literally a basin sitting there holding a bunch of water, and the water is our solution, so it's not going to cause any degradation of any kind in that sense. It's a very hands-off installation. And this guy in this video here, he's really, really excited about it because it's so
No.
beautiful. And every time he walks in, it's just a beautiful experience to partake of.
Mm,
It really fills a space beautifully. And as I said, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but it reminds me of those beautiful Mediterranean caves, where you go in and the water is projected, it's getting the sunlight from outside and it's just bouncing into the ceiling of these caves on the Greek
mm,
islands and all that kind of thing. It's such a it's to me it's the most natural of all the sensations because this is something that you really do experience in real life. Um, it's a lot more in tune with the everyday experience of water. Like for example, for me, I grew up uh, in a house back in Canada that has a pool in the backyard, and in the summers, the light will refract off of the pool, and it'll do exactly the same patterns onto like the underbelly of the deck, which is on the second floor, but also like the trees. Like you look up at the canopy of the tree and you can see the light refractions or the big
mm,
parasol by the garden where you can sit. There'd
yeah.
be like refractions there and on the wall. So for me, it's like fundamental. This is like childhood experience. So every time I see this kind of thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel very comfortable.
Mm,
I feel very soothed. But also not dissimilar to the rest of our installations, the experience of just being immersed in this sensation is very relaxing and soothing. They're natural ripples, which means that they're authentically being created and they're not artificial. They're not synthetic. So that every single ripple is true and real and dynamic and happening in real time and not recreated in any way. You know what I mean? They're very real, and you're connecting to something that's natural, which for me elicits a very meditative, contemplative, relaxing sensation, which I think is kind of again the core of all of the installations of WaterPearl are bringing that energy into our urban spaces.
urban spaces, yeah. One more thing they told me was that in terms of so this variation, so this diagram is for the one from the traditional one from ceiling to the floor.
Mm,
And this one is from basically the light source is on the floor and then projecting a Hamon to the ceiling. Basically, there's a water on the floor, and that
mm.
means that the acrylic panel is on top of the water. So this tends to create a moist, and that would kind of like create extra shadows. And that was the pain point for this kind of installation, but they somehow figured out in the right temperature and
Mhm,
by
mhm.
keeping the water and a acrylic panel to a certain temperature that it doesn't have any more moist. In
Condensation.
condensation, there you go.
Yeah, I think that I stand by what I said about Ponyo. I think this would be a really great installation for them to do a good Ponyo in exhibit in the Ghibli Park, which they haven't done yet. So gotta get
Yeah.
on that. Gotta start making those connections.
That's right. I know at least two locations, two aquariums that they have installed. It's there, and it's a perfect place for us because it's dark, right?
Mm.
And it suits the vibe too. It's
Bro,
just relaxed and romantic, and fish they're moving slowly, and other locations can be in front of the hotel reception.
yeah.
Again, it's very relaxing vibe. And it's a bit also mysterious too, depending on what you want to project and what kind of pattern you want to
Mm.
have. One thing I like about Hamon is also like, while you're zoning out, you can also customize how it looks, this panel itself. So this one
That's
was
so
in
beautiful.
this one I particularly like it. Like this one was in aquarium, a really
Mm.
dark place where the jellyfish is just floating. And the effect is supposed to be happening towards very subtle, like around here, like to the chair and also the floor. It was very dark, so it's a bit hard to capture with your camera, but you can kind of see the movement there. This one
Oh,
is from a different, illustration. So again, the look of the panel is very different. But so that's where I also feel like there's a lot of customizability um, to this. It's
mhm, mhm.
I prefer this more, like if I had to choose. But again, depending on the place. depending on the
So
vibe.
beautiful, that one, Tomo.
It's quite photogenic. Again, this is like a yeah material X. We don't know where it came from. Kind of. That's
Well,
very.
you know what that reminds me of actually?
Mm,
In the book of Genesis, in the Holy Bible, you know, one of the first passages are talking about the creation of light, the creation of the firmament, and the
right.
firmament is the separation between the waters above and the waters below. And in the concept of that, you see a lot of these beautiful pieces of art that are created in history, medieval art, that demonstrate that idea of this kind of dome of the firmament, and we're inside the dome, and
Mm,
outside of the dome is sort of the celestial other,
right.
the
Right. Right.
beyond, right? Where heaven is. And the idea is that there's water above that firmament, and within that water is the sun and the stars.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's that image, that clip that you showed, the first one there, it really, looking at it now, I'm really getting that kind of idea of the
mm,
firmaments, and the beauty of light piercing through this deep water from an unknown distance and an unknown scale. It's very it's restorative. Again, it's just so beautiful.
hmm.
And the fact that you can adjust the lights and the color and the temperature, I mean, there's something, I guess, spiritual about that, you know.
Yeah. We also like for Akupani we had it installed in a shrine, and for the film 4 that we're gonna probably talk about in next episode also installed in a temple as well. So
Mm,
we do work with some spiritual sacred
yeah,
areas as well. So maybe this Hamon could be part of it, like a part of these like religious, like spiritual areas. Um,
yeah. I don't see why not. I
or like
mean,
maybe at least like a surrounding area. It doesn't have to be prayers room, but could be like I don't know, like waiting or reception areas adjacent sort of
yeah,
place.
yeah. So I'll read you the passage in the Holy Bible. It says right here. Got the Holy Bible right here. It says, "And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven."
Mm,
So, you know, and this is an old medieval engraving that's been colorized. I think the first time I saw it was actually on the album cover of a particular band. Magna Carta Cartel from Sweden. Beautiful music. And it just, the idea that, you know, the known world is within this firmament, and the unknown, the mechanics of the universe and fundamental reality is beyond it, is outside of it. And so this gentleman here, he's got one hand outside of it and his head outside, and he's a quest for knowledge. It's a quest
mm,
to understand the unknown, you know, and
mm.
seeking knowledge and the understanding of the universe. And so my point is that that image, the even though I've seen that clip before in the past, and I was there to see it in person, seeing it this time just reminded me of this sort of experience of the looking beyond into what is unknown. And there's
Mm.
something spiritual about that. And I think that when you can achieve a sensation like that with an installation, such as Hamon or anything, you're doing something right. I mean, it's a beautiful expression of reality,
Yeah.
of our experience as human beings. And you know, I'm not saying that, you know, there is a firmament as such, like a literal dome over us.
Mm.
That's not my implication, but there is beauty in the expression of these ideas and in the expression of the words of old, you know,
Right.
and there is like a, again, there's a spiritual experience there that you can dive into that will lead to, you know, a new perspective, which is a beautiful thing. And I think
Mm.
sometimes it's important uh, to contemplate those fundamental realities. And Hamon allows us to reflect on reality in a very
Get you.
simple and yet beautiful way, you know?
I get you do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I hear that story about the water in the sky or water above us, that kind of makes me think about like a northern lights or southern light,
Mm,
and the image that Hamon projects is a bit similar to how they kind of move, like these aurora, like waving in the sky. again, this might be off topic, but like, I wonder when in the Bible when they say water, do they actually mean water, or do they
Mm,
mean like more like a metaphorical ocean above us that we can't really see yet?
yeah, that's a good question, and I've contemplated it a few times. I think like realistically, the way I would perceive that idea of waters above is because it rains. And
That's a good point. Yeah,
you know, how do you grasp the idea that
yeah,
there's
yeah,
what
yeah.
water is coming from above? That makes no sense.
It has to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
right.
sky looks
So
blue,
the
ocean
sky
is
looks
blue.
blue, right?
Yeah,
The ocean is exactly. So it's just kind of connecting those dots from a fundamental kind of realistic perspective of like, okay, these things all make sense. But I think that whether or not, the scientific evidence that we've experienced up to this point in reality in history shows us that there's not a dome of water or a dome that keeps the water out.
well,
We live
in
in
the
a sphere.
very strict sense, there's a little bit of water there, right? You know, it was a
Well, yeah, yeah,
vaping, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
So,
Well, my screen just went off. But I do think that oftentimes fiction can be more real than reality itself. Have images like this that kind of go beyond our rational understanding of what reality is. It can lead you to contemplations and ideas and understandings that go beyond just rational evidence and lead you to something that's more fundamentally spiritual, a better understanding or a new perspective, a sort of a better way of looking at things that you can still tie to reality. And
what are you
this
saying?
image is, huh?
What are you saying?
I don't know what I'm saying.
It's pretty good. Hamon does this to you guys. So
Helen does do this. It
buy
does
this.
do it.
But
Yeah.
you're right.
If you look at that image again,
Okay, let's
the
take a look at it.
Flammarion, right? In the top left,
Uh,
right? In the top left, you have so there's the wheels. The wheels are supposed. I think that's the wheels of the angels that Ezekiel
uh,
sees in the
right.
in the Bible. But also, moreover, to the right of the wheel, you have another star. I'm assuming that's like a star, or potentially even a sun, which stars are suns, right? And that's that. So that one that's like behind, kind of like on the horizon of whatever that horizon is in the back. That's kind of what when I see the Hamon, I'm like, that's what that is, right? That's like
Right.
because we as people, we're not typically underwater a lot. Right? You spend a lot of time underwater. So I mean, of course,
Typically,
if you go into a pool and you look up and you see the sun, then it's going to look like just like what Hamon was. But it's
that's right.
different with Hamon because you're not under the water. You are underwater, but you're not submerged in water. So you're seeing a separation. It's not often in our lives that we
Yeah.
get to be beneath water without actually being inside of water, and that's what you get to experience with this. And that's just at the end of the day, and this is a very long-winded way of saying it's a cool experience. It's like nice. It's really
Pretty
really
awesome.
cool,
Yeah.
but the fact that my mind has gone in these directions just by looking at the images from before, or like similar to that image there, it's it just speaks volumes about, I guess, the flexibility and the range of experiences that we are capable of,
Mm,
even in such simple things as looking up through water at the light. And
you're right. Yeah.
I think that there's something to be said of that. There's a lot of value in these creations and these installations that they can allow us to have these sort of experiences, right? It's not just, oh, it's water. It's like, yeah, but it's more than that, because we as human beings do not see the world just as numbers and as physical, reality. There are emotional sides to that. There are spiritual sides to that, and that's worth contemplating. And I think that if you can provide that experience in an everyday space, in an urban environment that's busy, hustle and bustle, you got a lot of stuff to do, and you can have a moment of like, oh wow, that's very valuable. And
Mm,
and not only is it valuable in and of itself, but the quality of which you're getting from this particular work that the WaterPearl provides, and the dedication that they have to their craft and the love they have for what they do. There's so much love in it, and it goes beyond just like, this is a light. This is a light for your space. It's not just that, it's an experience. Okay.
that's right. It's quite immersive experience, and I think for this space, Super Penguin, those guys did a really great job.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
combination installation. So with Hamon and Akpane, music, the nature of the place, the color of the space. Hamon itself is very the color is very simple, right? So whatever you have there, it's gonna just enhance it, and it's a very gentle uh, design and product. And I just noticed that Hamon is only product that we have on our website that is a Japanese word as well. So
Oh,
everything else is basically like kind of Englishish, you know.
yeah.
So products, WaterPearl, Akbane, power aeration. Aeration, I mean, you know, yes, we kind of play with the word, so it's not
Yes.
strictly English, but then film for and Hamon. So yeah, that's something to maybe quickly talk about as well.
Yeah, please, can you explain Hamon's meaning in Nihongo de?
日本語で言いますと、波紋、so, は Ha
Ah,
means wave, right? And mon means pattern. So in kanji or Chinese characters, this hamon can be these two Chinese characters or
mm,
kanji. So
mm,
first one is again wave ha, and then mon means pattern. So,
mm.
but yeah, so I don't think they really wanted to do like wave pattern any like something like that. They kind of chose to call it hamon, and
Mm.
I do think the sound of it sort of matches to the softness of the product as well. I feel right.
100%.
Mm.
100%. Yeah. I think it completely does. And I think that's one of the great I think that's one of the great characteristics of Japanese as well is the ability for so many of the words to actually capture the sensation of what they mean in their pronunciation. And that connects to like onomatope or onomatopoeia, which are very, very important in Japanese, where you have like sounds that represent a sensation or an experience. And Hamon is definitely doing that. I think you're absolutely right. I agree. I agree completely.
If
What is
you are
that?
a little bit of a Japanese nerd, you might know this word hamon. That's another. It's different,
Oh,
same sound but different Chinese characters. It
oh,
can
cool.
it can mean that in Japanese samurai sword they have this kind of wavy pattern.
Mm,
This again same sound hamon, but
mm,
in this one ha means braid. Amon is also meaning pattern, but it's a bit like a different. They use a different character for this. But yeah, for this reason also I like the name Hamon. Again, like
that's
it's
so cool.
yeah Hamon.
It'd be cool, man, if they did like a crossover installation that's both Hamons,
The both
right?
Hamon. Right? Yeah. In like a Japanese castles or like a sword museum, I think that this can
Yeah.
definitely be a good fit. Yeah, why
I think
not?
it'd be cool if you could if you could put
Hamon. Yeah.
one of these swords like inside of like a container, and
Right.
it looks like it's immersed in water, but it's just
Oh,
surrounded
okay.
by
Yeah.
Hamon. You
It's
know
a
what I
great
mean?
idea. Great idea.
That
Yeah.
could be cool.
And they can be
Yeah.
reflected on the braid itself as well.
That's right.
Can give a shine to it. I think we can kind of like wrap it up now for this episode. Actually, it's a good place to put an end.
Okay.
Maybe briefly kind of talk about next episode, which is a film fall.
Film fall, grace and healing. Timeless rain from the heavens. Like silent rain, intricate lines of water. Crystalline drops of water are gently carried down each string of film fall. Many strings together will evoke an enchantingly silent rainfall, as if in a dream. As ambient light shines on the strings and their passengers, the beauty of their motion and shape glitters all the more. Film fall is especially powerful in high ceiling spaces, the fine strings and downward motion of the drops highlighting the vertical size of large atriums, narrow spiral staircases, and anything in between. Not to mention, film fall makes a mesmerizing room partition. Film fall can be built up to a height of 30 meters, with the water drops consistent in motion and unbroken form. Great.
Yeah, very good. Film fall is a quite quite different kinds of beast. It's the final beast that we haven't really talked yet.
The final
It's
piece.
the final beast. But yeah, next episode we're gonna talk about film fall. That's basically a silent waterfall. Like Giacomo said, you can hang it from up to 30 meters ceiling, Um, but yeah, let's talk more about it next episode. Yeah,
Film fall next
yeah,
time.
next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。またでは。
ありがとうございました。
また。いい。Good job!